Welcome to our webinar for today. Today is International Women's Day and we are going to talk about women. What are we going to talk about women? We're going to talk about how we can help women to flourish in organizations. How can we help them to be able to thrive? And to help us to do so, we have three fantastic panelists. The first is, of course, a man. We need a man to help us out. And the man is Coen. Coen is one of the best trainers I've ever met. He's real, he's authentic. And when he trains, he's able to reach out and to be able to touch the true core of where a person is and where he can lead him to. So, Coen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Coen, and I'm a facilitator as well as a coach. And talking about coaching, right? It's like I've been working with female speakers here in Singapore as part of a platform called Keynote to empower women to take the stage and to share their messages. So it's been really rewarding being part of this journey, and I've gotten very, very attached to this message here of being a woman champion, and I look forward to sharing my thoughts in today's panel.
Thank you very much, Coen. And the next person we have is a lady from Singapore. Her name is Christine. She is one of the group HR directors here in the hospitality industry, and she's here to share with us all her industry expertise from being in the HR, from working with both men and women to see how women can thrive in organizations. Christine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Christine, and thanks, Serene, for inviting me for this session. I just wanted to share with you a little bit more about myself. Is that I have been in the HR environment for about 20 years. I started like 5 years old, so that is the reason why I have been able to have the opportunity to share this little idea that I have. And I have been in hospitality, in telco environment, and also in the IT environment for a while, and mainly my key focus area is talent management, and also in the HR operations. Yeah, and quite familiar in the HRMS as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, we saved the best for last, all the way from Sweden, our one and only feminist. Yes, a lady and a feminist, and a lady who has spent her entire life fighting not just for women's rights, but just for human rights. A lady who has been spoken for the last 20 years on all sorts of stages, trying to ask people to please be more nice to each other. So, Charlotte!
Hey, thank you for inviting me for this. I'm really honored to be a part of your panel. Yes, I'm working as a keynote speaker, and I'm a kind of stand-up comedian also, and I really want people to understand the human rights, and part of that is to become a feminist, because then you understand that the human rights are usually for male people, and you want them for kids and women as well, and intersexual people also. So this is what I spend my awake hours for talking about and learning about, and sometimes I change my mind in some areas, but to give people confidence to take the space they have the right to have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. So what does it mean for women to flourish in organizations? One of the things they were saying is that the reason why men progress faster in their careers and actually get more money is because men go out there and take the opportunities, and if the opportunities aren't there, they go and ask for the opportunities.
We are given the license to hunt.
Yeah, correct. And women don't, right? Women wait for people to notice that they've done good work and to promote them. Because I've been reading research that says that one of the reasons men actually get promoted more and more is because, like, if a man knows 60% of the job, he would step up and say, I can do it. But a woman must know 160% before she would like, okay, I can do it, give me the job. And that is an issue.
Well, if you see in this area, I do agree that men are more daring in terms of if it's offered a position or a role, they will just grab it and then do it later and produce. But for women, they are more careful. in terms of if I do not know at least 100% or 80%, 90%, I will not dare to take on the role. But I think sometimes women ought to be blamed in that manner because we are too careful. And when till the opportunity took over by another male, and they got upset, like, you know, why is it I am not given that opportunities? But, you know, there is a situation where I ever encountered that this lady, similar to what Serene have mentioned, why I have done everything, but I am not being promoted or given that role. So when I asked her, when you do the presentation, the male and the female were doing the presentation, you know, she is giving the feeling in when we do our panel, she's giving a feeling that, oh, I can do my best. This is what I can do this much. You know, he's just putting a lot of blocking the barricades in front of her, not saying that I think I can try because I got this. But you know, the guy that I know that he may not be able to meet that mark, but he is so gung-ho to just show that, hey guys, you know, I can do everything. You will want me 24/7 or 48/24, I can do it, you know, that kind of situation. So that gives the management the confidence. I said that role will give it to her. But we know that the lady can do a better job because analytical-wise and then experience-wise, she can do it. So I feel that women, we need to be able to believe ourselves and more self-confident that we are able to do the job. So this is my opinion.
Yeah. Christine says she still noticed that the women don't have the competency to step up to that kind of leadership. Can you elaborate and expand on that? Like, what competencies are you see that's missing?
Because they always, I mean, for women, they always feel that they are not good enough to do certain tasks. Something that they are not familiar, they will not, you know, will not say, hey, you know, I can do it. But they will say, I can try. So that is a different, like it or not, we always hear that, okay, I'll give a try. This is answer from the woman. For guys, they will just say, okay, just give it to me, let me, but the end result may not be the same. Because the female can try, but they can do a good job and do out the something that we want. But the male will just say something that, you know, this, oh, I deliver something.
Can we make the case for letting women try more?
No, but it's the languaging. It's like what you say, it's the languaging, right? If you ask me, Serene, can you do a webinar? And I said, I'll try. Versus, can you do a webinar? Yeah, sure. Hey, no difference there. You have no confidence I can do it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Yoda has killed us. Okay, I don't think it's Disney who killed us. The what do or don't do, there's no try. I think there's utter bollocks, right? I think sometimes try is better because I would rather have a person try, because a person who try is humble, a person who try is curious, and a person who try is agile and able to learn on the job. A person who says, I can do it, right, might suffer from some kind of a Dunning-Kruger effect. You know, he really cannot do it, but he believes he can do it. He kind of overpromise.
But it's interesting. It's not just female or male. It's very interesting in terms of social economy status in the country. It's also how to learn people how to express what they want to do. It's not just about gender. It's also about what kind of culture you are from. Swedish people are known to do different kind of things that doesn't really fit in Asia. But about confidence, I think the thing that people need to learn when you're in a new country or when you are in a new area, or if you are a female in a male area, you have to learn to not to be confident. You have to learn how to deal with your uncertainty or your feelings of not being confident. You have to, you know, it's hard to say to a young person, you have to be confident, but you can talk to them and say, you know, you have to deal with it. The feeling of not being sure. You have to deal with the feeling, and that is to be confident, not to know.
I think the flip side of it is not just that women are lack in confidence. What I've found is that women are higher in anxiety than men are. So I've worked under both male and female leaders, and I've always found the female leaders to be more anxious. And because they're more anxious, they're more worried, they will check back on you a lot more, they will micromanage a lot more, they will get freaked out about small things. And I think that is one thing that gets in women's way. They're sure anxiety or worries.
It's funny, you know.
Yeah.
I'm arguing against myself, and then the women are arguing against themselves.
No, it's not that. But, it's that I don't think I'm arguing against women. What I'm trying to say is that I think women should take more responsibility for where that they are. I mean, it is true that there are structural disadvantages against women, but there are also real issues that women bring to the table that I think they can work on. So if, for example, anxiety is a big issue holding you back as a leader, I think a woman should work on it and work at being more effective delegation, more effective leaders, be less micromanaging, because I think that will get them much further. Rather than sitting there and going, oh, but it's all disadvantage against us. We've been socialized badly. The organizations are not fair. That only disempowers. At least this is what I feel. That only disempowers. Yeah.
Right, so Christine, how do you normalize for anxiety in women? Do you agree, first of all, that women have anxiety? And secondly, how do you normalize it?
I do agree. I do agree women have more anxiety. And I think need a lot of communications.
I spoke to a very famous leadership coach in Sweden, and it was very interesting to listen to her. There is a new kind of high level women, because they behave a little different from those who are not as high level as those who are real high level. These women, they have done this survey, and they were in different kind of areas of the society, very different kind of areas, but they have the same 7 roles. They were making their daily meditation. They meditated in the office. They closed the doors and gave themselves a few minutes. And they also were looking at movies and read good books. So they gave themselves inner space. And the other thing they have a very, very clear plan for their life. And a part of that plan was having a good partner, male or female, but they had a good partner. They were living with somebody who also take care of the homework. I mean, the work in the home and the kids' homework and the daily work in the home. They had a good life plan for every part, and they had a partner who was a part of the plan. They had a very, very good network as their third role. They were very much working with the network, and the fourth role they had was they were very, very concerned which value was the company had, and they were very, very concerned. Almost the most important thing were, who is going to be my boss? And the sixth, let's say, they saw the career not as as, I don't know the English words, when you're just see it as stairs.
Ladder.
Yeah, they saw it more like a playground. The career is a playground. You're having a good time there, and then you take a little time off, then you're having a good time there, then you take a year off. They didn't look for growing up, and when they didn't look for growing up, they were growing up. And the last one they were pretending to work full time, but they were not.
Okay.
And when they were in office, they were, highly effective, but they were not working full time, but they said they did. Because otherwise you can't handle everything. So they pretend to work full time, but they didn't. And they had full-time pay, of course.
Is it because they are top leaders that they have the leeway to be able to get away with a lot of things like meditating in the office or not doing a full day's work, I mean, if I am a middle manager and I have a boss looking at me like a hawk, do I have that kind of leeway? I mean, what do you think, Christine?
But I think in today's workplace, if you can deliver and you work 3 hours a day, so be it. You get what I'm trying. If it's the KPI was set to you, and then if you can complete it in half a month, and the rest of the half the month you just meditate all 8 hours you want, then this is how the workplace is it now.
Talking about, hey, I don't care if you work half a month as long as you deliver what you need to deliver. Okay, if you're a salesperson, fair enough. If you're in HR, that does not happen. Actually, not just HR, any business function.
That is the reason why I only say it's for sales. Because other department, you can't, if you stop what you are doing, the whole thing will stall. So it's only sales. But if it's like a HR department, you can't. I can't say that I stop half a month. The second half of the month, I do need to do payroll. People will start hanging, they were queuing up and say, "Hey, Chris, what's going on?" So that is a little. I can't say it's it's the role, the department itself that makes a lot of difference.
This very high level boss ladies, everybody thought they were always working, but they were not. And that is a big difference. And they were not salespersons. They were CEOs, something like that. So, but it's very interesting. I'm in a meeting, I can't be at the office, and they were somewhere meditating. That was interesting. But they, of course, they were really, really high level people. There were no problem with their discipline or something. That was not the reason they were meditating. I think.
I was going to say, Charlotte, is this something that you can do to get to be a CEO, or something you can only do when you are already a CEO?
No, I think they were different from the beginning.
Just back up a little. It's just like adulthood, right? I mean, a lot of women go into all these jobs, but it's just like from childhood, right? When we ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And when a little girl says, I want to be a policewoman or firewoman, then you give them that weird look. I think I just want to go right back to education. I think this education system has sort of like let down the women. I mean, I think why shouldn't we encourage women to say, hey, go for it, go. Like, you want to be a firewoman, go for it. You want to be a policewoman? Yeah. It seems to me that the guys have more options. I'm going to throw something controversial here just for discussion.
Sure. No
I think
problem.
AI is going to replace men's job. And the next frontier is for women to step up, because women are better at things like sense making. Women are better at flowing with things. And AI can replace men's job, but it's the women that can make sense of the data, the big data. It's women that can flow together with this AI. So I think that I'm making the case right now. I mean, I can't believe I'm a man and I'm in this chat here, making a case for women to rise up as leaders. So, I mean, I think
you'll be surprised actually, Coen. The research is showing that leadership. Okay, so not about man or woman, but leadership as a discipline is becoming more feminine. What do we mean by feminine? As in, a lot of the traditional perception of female, so distributed power, for example, high emotional intelligence, what you've talked about, gestalt, the ability to look at the entire big picture, also the ability to manage many ongoing moving pieces, projects, which are all traditionally thought to be women's capabilities, are actually more and more valued. So men or women are needing to learn these skills. Sorry, Charlotte, you want to say something?
No, just that it's female, not women who have them. Anyone can have them, no matter who you are.
Just thinking that, why women keep saying we try. I think it's because women have multitask too many things, which is, we always say women multitask, and men, they are more focused. Probably that is the reason why we are always trying, is because we have too many tasks lying around. I mean, that we need to complete it. So that's the reason why we try to do a lot of things, but we will still do our best. So I think that was just thinking as, why are we always telling people we try, but we actually can do what we can do. Guys are more focused. They can do only one thing at one time. Sorry. But for women, we are trying to do too many things at one time, and that's why we try to try.
You didn't realize that I was on this panel. Since I was texting my wife, and I'm cooking noodles, and I'm also changing my pants.
And doing brain surgery in the other room.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a good sign. At least trying to change.
I'm trying to multitask, you see, Casey.
In defense of that, I mean, we used to think that multitasking is the good thing to do. But what happens
May
is
not
that
be.
brain science have moved on, and they realize
Correct.
that we are not capable of multitasking. What we are doing is we are switching from task to task in
Exactly.
very small slivers of time. And that actually disrupts our ability to think deeply, to focus, and to do deep work. And in order to really
No
do like
depth,
creative
yeah.
and deep work, we need 3 to 4 hours of really like focus, don't think about anything else and just go into it and go into the flow. We've talked about, you know, guys not being able to multitask as if it is a bad thing, but that's
Actually
not
not.
what research is showing at all.
Things have
It's showing
changed.
actually it's
But
not.
what
I
I'm
want
trying to say is that we have not moved out of the thing that we keep thinking that we wanted to multitask. We always think that we can multitask, but in fact, we only try to touch the surface and move on. Well, guys can go in depth and get things moving, but they are blamed for not able to multitask, and we got the credit for it, you know. So that is probably that is the reason why I think, and we need to move on and maybe do a little lesser task, but do it more in depth and not just touch and go. So maybe that is a shift mind that we need to, a female, we need to tell ourselves about it.
So don't
Mm.
blame Disney, don't blame Yoda, blame the women for trying to multitask.
It's not beyond that actually. Like for a lot of women, I realize women take on so much that they neglect self-care. So when Charlotte was talking about all these meditating CEOs, I realized this, that actually ultimately you can't take care of anyone if you don't take care of yourself. And one of the things that women always feel that because women are socialized to
Self-love.
self-sacrifice, right? You take on so much that you neglect yourself, and then everything you're like, oh, I will try, oh, I'm not so sure. And then
Backfired.
yeah. And the flip side is resentment, you know. There's so much resentment that when I talk to women and even women in fairly senior positions, there is so much resentment. You know, like Charlotte was talking about, pick a life leader that shares half the workload, but a lot of them don't. And then they are resentful of husbands that don't, take equal share, So, I mean, I'm not saying blame the women. What I'm saying is, if as women, we can see that, hey, we contribute equally to the problem, rather than, hey, it's not fair, it's always me doing the work. But my husband said this to me once. He says, if you are doing it already, you're doing such a good job, why should I take over from you? At that point, I realized, I've got to delegate more.
Outsource.
I've got to delegate more, because if I'm doing it and I'm doing a good job, why should he come and take it over from me? And besides, as he also rightly mentioned, I will probably scold him for trying to take it over from me and feel that he's not going to do as good a job. So when you realize that we contribute to the issue, then that's where we realize we can then make a difference. Otherwise, you are always in a disempowered position.
I feel that.
That's what I
Well said. Thank you.
But what I really think is become very clear in these discussions is you have to be confident, and to be confident you have to handle your unconfidence, feelings of being unconfident. But what I really think it's important, what this expert Ulrika Sedell said, was that all these high-level people, high-level female leaders, they have not just been planning their career, planning their road, they have been planning everything around, like having a good partner, having nice cocktails. Is the company nice enough? If the boss is bad, they don't take the job. I mean, they have think about all the things around, not just to do a good job at the office. They do that also, but they do give themselves a good infrastructure.
First of all, we need to believe in ourselves as a female and believe that we can do it, and don't be shy to say no, or we will try. So I think this is I think this is important for a woman to believe first on themselves. And I think self-confidence will come along, because if without self-confidence, you will not think that you can believe you can do a good job. So this is what I feel this is important for today's women in the leadership environment. We should be able to self-confident and believe ourselves.
I think that I want to make a case also. I just want to raise the stakes on that as well.
Sure.
I want to make a case for more women to step women to step up. You see, even men also not so confident. But we want to make a case for women to step up is because you talk about women wanting to be 160% sure. I feel that women are less likely to suffer from what is called the Peter principle. That's my hypothesis. The Peter principle is the principle of being promoted beyond your level of competence. So I think sometimes men, right, they're very good at faking it till we make it kind of thing. And then when we get into the level of of competence, we just stagnate, But because women, right, they always feel like they need to be 160% sure. So if they're promoted to the position of head of department, for example,
Right.
they will continue to seek personal development and professional development.
Thank you so much for the three of you for coming by and participating in this webinar. I really, really appreciate it for you taking this time and coming and speaking to me and sharing your valuable views and your expert insights. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charlotte, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.